President Cyril Ramaphosa says the government of national unity is committed to creating jobs. He addressed the crowd on the lawns of the union buildings after being sworn into office. He says efforts to undermine the government should be discouraged, adding that unity and advancing the lives of South Africans will be a priority.
Today, we are opening a new chapter in the life of our country. We are going to have a government of national unity where we are going to work together, united, so that we can advance your interests. Let us not be afraid of what this government of national unity is going to be all about. We want to create jobs. We are going to get everyone in the government of national unity to work to create jobs. I am going to make sure that that happens.
All right, still on the inauguration and political developments, the Rand has reacted positively to the inauguration. Joining us to discuss the markets is SABC News Economics editor Tshepo Mongoai. Tshepo, good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us.
It's a pleasure.
No, it's always a pleasure to have you with us. I think it was around 9 a.m. when I saw that the Rand was strengthening against the dollar. I mean, just below 18 Rand. Talk us through this.
No, absolutely. It started last week where we've seen the Rand really starting to strengthen against the US dollar. And obviously we were asking ourselves what could be behind this. There weren't many reasons, except that it looks like there is a lot of approval from what is happening politically in South Africa. Of course, we've seen the Rand also, it's been around 18 Rand for quite some times. And then we've seen it touching 17 Rand. It's currently around 17 Rand 97 to the US dollar. And it's also, you've seen stocks rallying on the JSE. You look at your financials, banks and financials, those were the biggest drivers, retailers as well. Yesterday was quite phenomenal in terms of the percentage, the leap that we've seen in individual share price. And of course today culminating in the all share index touching that record high of 81,000, which it hasn't happened before. Although if you look at the percentage movement on the JSE today, it's quite broad-based, but you still have your likes of banks and financials, your cliques, Standard Bank, that are also up about 2%. So you could tell that there's a lot of interest locally in the JSE. Yesterday, interestingly, we had a new bond issuance, which was oversubscribed, meaning that there's confidence in the local economy. There are an element of foreigners, although most of people who are buying this market it's local. Yeah. But if you look at the yesterday bond issuance, there's no doubt that you have a lot of foreign interest who are coming into the market. And of course, with the numbers that we've seen today, the consumer price inflation that came out today, it will also help to put more stimulus into the local currency, because it tells you that we could actually start seeing interest rates coming down sooner than later.
Now, when looking at financial analysis, it seems most of them are rapidly now looking to update their Rand forecast, and others are even going as far as saying it could even go below that 17 Rand mark by the end of the year.
Absolutely.
And this, of course, would be all things equal, that if we look at the global backdrop and we see perhaps more of them sort of risk-seeking, that if that is the case, then possibly we could go even below.
That's absolutely. I mean, some analysts are saying 17 Rand 50 could be the next level to the US dollar, provided
by the end of the year.
Provided that things stay the same. Because the make or break currently is the composition of the cabinet and really the kind of message that the cabinet will be telling to South Africa in growing this economy. I think that is the next very important milestone. And should we be able to live up to that expectation that we will deliver on some of the promises that have long been made to electorate, and we'll just get on and cut out the noise, I think we are definitely going to see the rand touching that. And of course, I mean, people will ask, why should I care if the rand is surging? What's important if the markets are at this all-time high? The reality is many people who are employed, they have investment in those stock markets in the form of pension funds. So pension funds invest a portion of those savings in equities. And as a result, there is some kind of value that South Africans are deriving from that. And if markets plunge, like what happened in 2008, people who were retiring at that time, they actually get, they took a cut on what they were supposed to receive.
I'm glad that you've actually touched on that, so everybody understands why it's important that we constantly monitor the markets and monitor the rand's performance. Tshepo, as always, thank you very much for your time. That's economics editor Tshepo Mongoai speaking to us